So, hello everybody. This is going to be a boring stream where I just read dialogue the whole time, but with the looming threat that at any point this PC might just turn into a black screen again like it did last Final Fantasy stream. We did a lot of troubleshooting and we figured it was the solid state drive that my operating system is on. So I bought a new solid state drive and installed Windows on that and started getting through the process of putting all of my programs on there and setting up a new computer from scratch, only for the problem to happen again. Anyway. And then just as an intermediate step, just like a throwaway step really, I went in and like updated my BIOS, which I did update when I made the computer back in like 2020, but I did it again. And suddenly, I was able to fully render a video without my computer shutting off, which had never worked so far. Every time I tried to render a video, my computer would shut off, and that was frustrating. But nope, I rendered a video, and so now I have not been able to successfully cause my computer to shut down on its own again, unprompted. And so I'm like, did that really fix it? Did updating the BIOS fix everything? So I've actually switched back to the original solid state drive with all of my programs on it, so I don't have to deal with changing anything. And like, maybe we're good. I don't know. I'm gonna hang out and record and stream Final Fantasy for a bit, and we'll see if it breaks. And the streaming will be sort of a backup in case I lose the recording because of my computer just turning off or something. Hrothgar! It is always important to be at least partially undressed. Arms and legs out, or more. I have mail. I've got mail. Where's a Moog? My environs appear moogless. Am I looking for a Moogle icon or a male icon? I could try the thingy and look for a male icon. It's sweat not. There's one. Yeah, as far as why I didn't just clone my drive in the first place when I was switching to a new one, it wasn't, not everything was fully thought out, but also I thought that the drive was failing, so I thought it was just gonna like shut down in the middle of the process and cause new problems by like just breaking in the middle of the whole thing. Harness of aiming. Uh-oh. The screen's full again, goddammit. I have been gifted the Terminator set. This has also revealed that I'm just wearing like leather underwear underneath all of that clothing in the other set. This is kind of funny because it's like Mad Max stuff. Oh no, the clipping with the collar, the scarf. But it reveals, it's goofy because it's like a Mad Max looking thing. I thought we were looking at a different one that had like it had like a chest piece, but the chest piece had like hip cuts or something, and not this one specifically. So we're going, yeah, back to Sky Steel Manufacturer. We're still in that part of the story. Yeah, I was convinced at one point that cloning the drive would be a bad idea because one, we didn't know if the problem was data. I didn't know if the problem was data on the drive, and I also didn't know if the drive would survive the process, or if it would just like shut down in the middle and then fuck with the one that I'm trying to switch to. But ultimately, it seems like the drives weren't the problem to begin with, so now I just have an extra SSD that I've already defaced because I write on my drives so I can tell which one's which whenever I open up my computer. So especially with like just questions like which one of these has the operating system on it and which one of them is the identical looking drive that has my video games on it, because they look the same as each other. Auto crossbow. Okay, let's actually unlock my fucking skills, because I'm all the way back at level 50 as far as these go, but I'm level 70 now, so I have a lot to do. Like 2 entire story arcs, the Heavensward one and the Stormblood one, I think. Yeah.
Ah, there you are, Zev. 'Twould seem that 'tis not only Joy, but her father as well, who has vanished from the city. Celestial is out asking questions, but there are few answers to be had. Rather than sit here on our hands whilst we wait for revelation, however, I would prefer we begin preparations for our engagement alongside House Zemal. The Zemals have been struggling to restore the township of Falcon's Nest, an enterprise that has been interrupted time and again by marauding Dravanians. The signs, and a steady trickle of scouting reports, suggest that the dragons are massing for a significant assault on the settlement. Its fortifications are not yet complete, and 'twill be the aim of the allied operation to defend these half-finished structures from the ravages of the Horde. I expect House Helenarch shall be positioned on the front lines of this conflict. Should we fight well, the dragons will be routed. Should we fight poorly, our reputation will suffer. From Lord Teddlegrinch's perspective, either result is a victory. For the future of machinistry, however, we cannot afford to fail. Thus have I focused my energies towards designing an attachment that will improve our chances of success. Now the problem, which I was hoping you might well help me solve, is the acquisition of suitable components. The swiftest way to create new technologies by repurposing the old. To that end, I would have you infiltrate Castrum Sentry and salvage a goodly number of War Machina parts. I'll never know. Who cares? Garleans there may take a dim view of our efforts to liberate their supplies. Boom, boom, ba-doom, ba-doom. The giant revolver is so funny. I like the giant revolver because it looks like a gun. I cannot stress enough how hard it is to find a machinist weapon that looks like a gun. It's annoying. Like, look at the... I don't know if... How do you even... Let's see. I don't know if I even can look at what this looks like normally now, because it's transmogged, but look at its icon. It doesn't look like a gun. Let's see. I got like a few in a row that look kind of like variations of shotguns and whatnot for a bit. I'm on a bit of a spree, although they are like over-designed in a way they're kind of hard to recognize details on. Like the actual weapon, oh there, they get increasingly strange, and then this one, the one that I'm currently actually using is just like incomprehensible. Oh wait, glamour plate, remove. Okay, I give up. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It's too much work to look at what it looks like. Did I do the wrong thing? No, that's a different objective, okay. Ah. I can actually use most of... Oh, that's... Yeah, watch out. That's my actual story objective. Don't go to that one. It's not where we are right now. So far, the game is working. I hate technical problems whenever they happen, not only because while they're happening, everything's fucked, but also it's often ambiguous whether or not you've actually defeated them. And so just for like a while, you just kind of become afraid of working, because at any moment, you might just have just at any random moment, your computer will just fuck with you and be like, haha, you lost all your work. Which is uniquely fucked in Let's Plays, in a way. Because if you're drawing, you can redraw the part, although it might be a big struggle and it'll never quite be the same. If you're writing, you can rewrite that part. And like, you might successfully recreate most of what you wrote last time. It might even be better this time, because it's like editing. You had to like you had to rewrite the idea that you wrote last time. But with Let's Plays, you just permanently lose, like, your blind playthrough of that area. And so, not only are you in a shittier mood now recording the same part again, because you had a technical problem that made you lose work, but also you're replaying a level you just played, but also, like, any reactions you had that were good are just gone, and you can't, like, you have to, like, really go out of your way if you want to, like, pretend that it didn't happen. I think I've successfully pretended to have not lost footage before and like recreated my reactions before. I'm like, whoa, crazy, haha. Just like act the whole episode as it like I think it's worked before, but it sucks to do. Oh, we're just flying all the way back anyway. Would you like some busy work? I brought you busy work. Why is this frog so fast? Look at him. With joy gone from the workshop, I have no one else to whom I can entrust such duties. 'Tis no simple task, I know, but I must have those components. Splendid. These parts will do much to speed the construction of my invention, if only joy will return to us. Despite Celesto's most earnest efforts, however, 'twould appear that his contacts in the broom have elected to spurn his inquiries. I sense an unseen hand, and a sizable purse behind his sudden rash of reticence. Mayhap if you were to ask after the old hunter's disappearance instead, then the broom's inhabitants would be more forthcoming. We just inquire about them about the broom. Oh, you mean the one whose daughter caught herself a husband in Falcon's Nest? He's probably there with her, ain't he? Eh? That old fellow? I thought he'd left to start a new job someplace else. He was always cursing how his old wounds kept him from practicing his trade, but I suppose he found himself something new. That sounds a bit like a contradiction to be concerned about. Bedraggled. Oh, aye, creaky old hunter. I hear he got himself paying work and saw his little girl getting married on the same day. The husband said to be the brother of some famous carpenter, and that he don't need a job to get by.
It seemed pretty obvious from the get-go that somebody interfered from the outside, and we're like, well, I don't want this person making this stuff and succeeding at his goals, so we better snipe his talent. Were you able to wring any information from the broom? A new job for him, and a new husband for his daughter in Falcon's Nest. They've been taking a good number of laborers and such to help with the town's restoration. Even a half-crippled old hunter might find some kind of work for himself there. Yes, my protectometer points unerringly to the west. We shall head to Falcon's Nest and seek out Joy and her father. With the power of teleporting, I never have to walk again. That's how you become chubby, Hrothgar. Just looking back and forth. I'm searching for Joy by standing next to the two people that were already here and being like, I'm also helping. Look at us, look. Any sign of her? His lordship? What is he doing here? Joy, please. I only ask that you listen for a moment. Will you and your husband not consider working for me in the manufactory? I can't do that, my lordship. I can't be a machinist no more. It's best for everyone if I leave that life behind. What do you mean, best for everyone? Is that what's best for you? All I want for me is a simple life. One what doesn't cause problems for those who've shown me such kindness. I'm glad we could talk this one last time, my lordship. I'll be praying that you and your machinists get the recognition you deserve. I always thought Joy was the happiest when she had the stock of her flintlock in hand. Will she now sacrifice that happiness for the satisfaction of others? Or is it that she never truly wished to be a machinist, and merely suffered the training in my insistence? By arming the commoners, 'twas my intention to place them on equal footing with the nobles who seek to rule them, but caught in the throes of self-righteous ambition, mayhap I have treated them no better. I don't think you can extrapolate from her to everyone like that. I know it's supposed to be you doubting yourself narratively, but I don't think that translates. Seems his lordship is having himself a crisis of faith. Might be as you could lend him a sympathetic ear, eh? I'll join you back at the workshop in a bit. There's something I want to look into first. A conspiracy. Just right back to Foundation again. It's our very rapid fire teleport. Spree. I've run my prospectometer through all possible permutations, but the result is always the same. We focus on preparations for the Allied operation. We just give up on bringing Joy back. Should we fail House Zemal, then the reputation we built at the tourney will crumble into dust. We would have to begin again, brick by painful brick. A moment, my lord. I lingered behind in Falcon's Nest to see if I could find Joy's father, but he was nowhere to be found. I've got a feeling something ain't right here. If Joy herself has no wish to be a machinist, then what more can I do? 'Tis not my place to meddle in her affairs. Oh, I see how it is. I'd thought you different from them other nobles, but you're all the same. Only interested in helping commoners as long as they're doing your bidding. Well, I've had enough of taking orders. It's time I went on my own way.
My grand plans for the future of machinistry. Have they all been in vain? That is for you to judge. Do not underestimate your own contributions. Speaking of which, I had promised to use those components you brought me to build a new weapon. If not else, we have certainly made advances in the field of machinistry. Such a tangible measure of progress cannot be ignored. Yes, my perspective meter is so overloaded with peripheral problems, I failed to see the practical evidence of our success. The path is steep and our steps are small, but that does not mean the destination is beyond us. I will ask much of you in coming days, Zev, and I shall see that you are the most well-equipped machinist in the short history of machinistry. Okay. What new button did I just get? Auto crossbow. What do? I've got Ricochet equipped. Yeah. It's the previous one. Delivers an attack with potency of 140 to all enemies in a cone before you. Another cone-based ability? Can only be executed when firearm is overheated. Oh. I'm trying to make sense of these things. Dang it. Because this is only when overheated, right? This reduces the cast from both of these. I guess this gives me a... this does give me an AoE I can do when I use hypercharge. That's like... instead of spread shot. Wait. Oh, it is faster. They both have a potency of 140. Does not share a recast timer with any other actions. Upon execution, the recast timer for this action will be applied to all the other weapon skills and magic actions. Oh. So I can't alternate between these two because this one will give its cooldown to that one. I don't know if this is intended, but I usually cast this, and then alternate between this and that, and then this and that. Because this recharges the cooldowns of these, and these only have 2 charges, so you want to keep recasting them before they stack up. So then you get a bunch of bonus attacks in, basically. It makes sense to me. But I guess what I would do is... so these don't share, but this one does give that one a cooldown. So I guess you cast this, then this, then this. Because you could do this one for free real quick, then spam this one on a shorter cooldown. But it's basically just gives me a hypercharge AoE instead of my regular AoE. I'm never sure if the AoE is actually worth doing or not. It doesn't feel that strong, but I try to spam it. Ultimately, leveling instances don't matter that much. And then, also, like, I don't need to do any more leveling instances because I'm already caught up with everybody else, so... I don't... the skills that I learned there mostly don't apply as much. That's 2 more. That looks like one of them's an upgrade, I think. I hope your firearm is loaded and ready, Zev. We have received our deployment orders from House Zemal. Several groups of Devanians are converging on Falcon's Nest, and we have been tasked with eliminating the fiends gathered upon the Black Iron Bridge. Knowing Teddo Grinch, and I unfortunately do, I would not put it past him to lure more foes into the narrow structure simply to overtax us. And we must needs overcome this assault without Joy's help, or Celestos for that matter. He has yet to return since he stormed out the door. I will assemble our remaining machinists to lead them to Falcon's Nest. Pray join us there as soon as you may. Alright, Falcon's Nest it is. I was just here! If only he could just hang out there.
instead of having me go back and forth. He even comes every time.
Ah, Zev. I fear Celisto's departure has inspired his fellows to disregard my commands. You are the only machinist to answer my call to arms. And in response to this insubordination, I have been forced to deploy what few knights we could spare, myself included. They even begged me to come along. As I've said before, fighting bloody dragons ain't in my contract, so they'll be paying me handsomely for the trouble. Is this House Helnart's entire company? You seem to be short a number of machinists. We are keeping our colleagues in reserve. For an operation such as this, we need field only Zev, the finest machinist in our ranks. Your confidence is truly inspiring. Thankfully, however, there are few enemies threatening the Black Iron Bridge. Even with your sparse numbers, I dare say you shan't be sorely pressed.
No one knows who I am in these storylines.
Celisto, have you come to fight with us?
That all depends on you, my lord. We have found Joy's father. He's being held prisoner in the broom.
Held prisoner?
You suspect this is some manner of coercion?
Aye. We reckon they've been targeting Joy for a while. Her dad vanished right after he landed a job here in Falcon's Nest, and then Joy suddenly up and wed the brother of a carpenter working on the fortifications. House Zemal is behind this, or I'm a Chocobo's third cousin. Tettlegreens, you cad! It's not too late. If we break her dad out, then Joy can abandon her farce of a marriage and come back to the manufactory where she belongs. But the bridge, the Dravanians. Go. Joy is a machinist. As manufactory chief, 'tis your duty to attend to your employees. My knights and I shall march for House Helnart. You needn't worry. They'll have yours truly fighting right beside him. Go help the boss, Zev.
I'm not doing the fight?
If Zev goes, then I'll stay behind. We promised machinists to the Zemals, and we don't want to break our word now, do we? Just one should be enough. Thank you. Thank you all. We shall conclude this matter with the greatest of haste, and return as swiftly as we may. You find one of your manufacturing machinists in the broom. He'll show you where Joy's dad is being held. Like as few possible. I'm actually. There's enough comments that I collectively got confused about who's going where. Alright, right back to the broom. There's yet another machinist waiting for me there, but that isn't going to the thing that we have no machinist ready for. What is everybody doing? Cellisto said you'd come. The chief will draw too much attention, so we asked him to wait at the workshop till we're ready to act. Joy's dad is right behind that door over there. You just need to convince the bloke standing guard to open it. He don't exactly look the stoic type, though, so a goss round ought to have him pissing his trousers. We're just constantly threatening people with guns. Like, that's... I've never threatened someone more often in any of these games, in any of this game, than I do now. We're just throughout this entire storyline, I just constantly fire guns at people, and they're like, oh my god, they have guns! That's fucked up. I thought this was a fantasy game. Ah, what's the... You shot me. I shot him? Unprovoked? I mean, he's doing bad thing, but still, like... Just went 0 to shooting a guy. What is this doing to the characterization?
Oh my goodness.
Is that Zev? He's got a gun! Blam blam. Please, I ain't done nothing wrong. Some fancy fop dropped a pouch in my lap and told me to guard the door. I swear that's all I know. And how much did he pay you? Not enough to die over, my lord. But please don't shoot me again.
Apparently they're not very good guns. I thought I swear that even though it looks like I'm targeting them, I thought the whole point was I was supposed to be like shooting the air and then they run away.
Ah, 'twas not my intention to threaten you. We merely wish you to release the man behind yonder door. And should you fear the vengeance of your employer, you are welcome to take shelter at the manufactory. In fact, why not become a machinist? Then you needn't take another such unsavory job again. You're offering me work, my lord. I'll let the bloke out for that. Hells, I'll carry him across the city and back for a steady wage.
I'm realizing that there's less of a hard cutoff between the end of ARR and the beginning of Heavensward in this storyline, because this wasn't a class in A Realm Reborn. So they just come here and continue the storyline. They just make another arc, essentially. But like there wasn't a hard cutoff and change of locations, and like it's usually just like a storyline that just ends and a new one starts. But this is like, I remember that they set up the big contest. They set up this stuff like earlier, I think, and I think that's because of that. And then also obviously like you couldn't be in Foundation back then, so obviously it's not an original class.
Lord Stephanevian, me humble thanks.
And I just give up on this voice forever.
You've been locked away for quite some time, my poor man. Do you know who did this to you, or why? I have not the faintest idea, my lord. I was hired by House Zemal to work on their walls, and then when I went to join the crew heading out to Falcon's Nest, some bastard, begging your pardon, my lord, slipped a sack over my head and carted me away. I'm just a broken old hunter. I ain't got money for ransom, and nor does me family. Got to be thinking that maybe they nabbed the wrong bloke. Then you weren't aware that Joy was wed, or that she resigned from her position at both the manor and the manufactory. She got married and quit. Why'd she do a foolish thing like that? I've never seen her happier than when she was slinging one of them flintlocks. Ah, so that's why they took me. They're blackmailing my little Joy. Ain't no way she'd just up and marry some bloke who wouldn't let her stay at the workshop. Then she was a machinist by her own choice. I am full glad to hear that. 'Tis time we liberated your daughter from her false union. Once she sees you are safe, I do not envy the man who pretends at a role of her husband. I knew you'd set things right, my lord. You take good care of Joy, and I'll tell the rest of the machinists that they can come back to work. All right then, lad, you come with me.
There's too many characters at once.
Let's see. I will speak with Joy and unravel this nonsense. You, however, must make haste to the Black Iron Brigade and lend your barrel to the battle.
There we go. I'm choking on a lot of this because there's just like a lot of really clunky words and phonetic spelling, and then then so many characters that I'm like vaguely trying to voice, but I can't keep them straight. Help. Now we're going back to the other map. Here we go. Nope. Back the other way. This is the goofiest getup right now. The Mad Max ammo belt. The ammo belt makes sense. I don't really have an overall glamour that fits with it though. Right now he's just like in the middle. He's just in the middle of the Arctic, and he's like, I don't need clothes. I'm Rothgar. Oops. Time to lose some buttons, but not really, because I think all of the buttons that I've upgraded since then are just like replacements or something. They just like got upgraded into like shinier versions of buttons, but do the same thing. About time you got back. You found Joy's dad then. Good. Now it's up to the boss to bring her back. The fighting has been fierce. Master Rosenthal was injured when he gallantly intercepted a swipe meant to remove my head. Bah! That's a noble way of saying I tripped over its bloody tail and stumbled into the blow. Any road, you'll have to take me place on the front lines. And do it soon, before these dainty knights get their asses handed to them. There's apparently a war happening somewhere, invisibly. It's completely quiet and barren here. Hello! Whoop! Explode, please. And we'll do the drone on you. Oopsie. Wait, I guess I should spam this a bit. Actually, let's do the new ability. The auto crossbow. This is definitely decently strong. You definitely feel the extra second of faster cooldown. Because normally I have this, it's so much slower. But I can make it crit. Once. How exciting. This is my pattern I do for this. I don't know if it's the correct thing to do, but I just alternate between the heat action and the two reduced cooldowns. Try to keep them from hitting 2 charges. And it does so many inputs so quickly that I imagine that's probably good. He was missing a few mates, but you still took care of business. Not that I expect aught less from one of me star students. A star indeed. Your arrival was a gift from the heavens. Watch out! Load, aim, fire! Wow, we got saved by her. Joy, obviously, right? Oh, they're back. All the machinists are back. Yep, there she is. How do you like that, you great scaly bastard? She, like, fucking, like, goes into, like, a yandere transformation or whatever. Every time that she picks up a gun, she transforms into a different character. Anime. That gun is gonna scrape the ground. I'm afraid I've caused a great deal of trouble for you all. Thank you for rescuing me, Dad. It was no trouble at all for such a fine employee. As you are now wed, I understand that you may not wish to resume your duties at the manor, but have you considered my son's offer that you and your husband come to work at the manufactory? Me husband and me have agreed to part ways. If it please me, Lord. I'd like to start working again at the workshop and the manor both. Joy, my dear, you are most welcome, of course. Neither the manor nor the manufactory has been the same without you. Give me all the buttons now. Literally the moment she left, it was immediately apparent what the entire story of what had happened was. I guess not entirely apparent, because it wasn't immediately apparent that the dad had been kidnapped. But I was like, oh, they definitely offered him a job and all these opportunities that they're not allowed to pass up on. And I figured that I guess I figured that the dad had pressured her to marry in order to get the job, like it was a package deal. But actually, just kidnapped. It was definitely obvious who did it and why. Me lordship, I don't know how to. That is to say, I'm glad to be back. And then somebody's looming on the horizon, or it's just the dickhead's gonna come walking in. Yep, here it comes. Ah, I see that even for the much diminished House Hellenard, a handful of dragons poses no true threat. I shall have to find a more significant challenge for your next outing. 'Twould seem that you still do not understand that the knight is the master of the battlefield. Have you heard of evidence before? And like, cause and effect and results. That was far more than a handful of dragons, Tato Grinch. Do you think us blind? We know who is working against the manufactory. We know whose underhanded villainy forced Joy into wedlock. Whatever are you implying? You speak as if I recall the names of your low-born servants, or hold even the slightest interest in their common unions. Now, if you'll excuse me, my lords. It was immediately obvious what they did. Ah! Damn that man and his arrogance. My perspective meter and I shall remain vigilant, and we shall defeat Tato Grinch's trickery at every turn. I don't think your thing does anything. I think you just believe in it, and that's it. The accolades for this triumph, however, must go to you, Zev. The bridge is clear, and joy is returned to us. I was afraid I'd seen the last of the manufactory. Thank you again for the warm welcome home. I've never felt as whole as I did after I joined the ranks of the Machinists. When I had to tell his lordship I was quitting, it felt like I was leaving a part of my soul behind. That's when I realized, to me, being a Machinist is more than just firing a weapon. It's a way of connecting to another side of myself. Well, now that you're connected again, we can get back to working on your shooting and your swearing. And there is also the small matter of our delayed tourney celebration. If it pleases me, lordship, I'd like to do some training instead. I feel the need to shoot off 10 score bullets or so. Ah, of course. We all celebrate in our own way. Fire at will, my dear. I, for one, am eager for a stiff drink back at the manufactory. And then we head back home. Bloop. 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 Thank God I learned the trick to just click on the description directly. It takes so much longer without that. Let's see. Oh, right. Gotta go back here. Gondolimbo. It's a whole lot of name. Oh, it's already later than I thought it was. Oh no, we've been already been going for like 15 minutes. Okay. I've got plans coming up. I'm glad it hasn't crashed yet. I'll still be very paranoid for a while. Once more, you have proven your worth to the Machinist and to House Elenart. As for Lord Tedogrinch, I had my suspicions, but it now seems abundantly clear that he has been behind every mishap and misfortune to befall the manufactory. Despite his knavery, however, our successes in the field will not have escaped the notice of the Holy See. And as our reputation grows, so too shall Tedogrinch's ire. We had best be on our guard. Oh, did you hear? During his skirmish with the dragons, Rosenthal developed a new technique. He was adamant that I pass on the particulars to you. It's called shoot the gun, and then they die. He did split shot, so that just replaced split shot. Yep. So now the first and last in my combo are both just replaced by better versions of itself. It's definitely supposed to go in this order, but heated clean shot unlocks at a level, and these ones I think both unlock from quests, so it's not happening in the correct order. Womp womp. Alright. Give me more explodey buttons, please. Let's get to the point where the gun explodes in my hand. Greetings, then. Is it not a wonderful day to be Machinist? Lord Stevenivian de Helenart, you and the Skysteel Manufactory employees under your authority are hereby charged with fomenting insurrection. Kinda. Arm the people. Fuck you. Insurrection? My dear sir, I have fomented nothing of the sort. I don't even have a brewery. You stand accused of arming commoners with weapons of war and discharging said weapons within the locality of the Broom. Ah, that little scene when we liberated Joy's father. Henceforth, the manufactory shall remain under Temple Knight surveillance. Should you fail to refute the accusations against you within the allotted time, punishment may include the seizure of your workshop and imprisonment for all those deemed accomplices to the crime. The Fury take that smirking fox. Tedogrinch knew we would attempt a rescue. He's an irritating person. Once they set their sights on Summit, them Temple Knights is like a bandersnatch with a bone. You'd best say farewell to your workshop. They'll not take the manufactory. I will think of something. 'Tis difficult to prove the truth of something one has not done. Mayhap the wiser course would be to provide evidence of Tedogrinch's wrongdoing. He's a clever bastard, though, that one. You might try, but I'd best not overstep me bounds. The contract's almost done in any case, and I'll be moving on, no matter what happens to the workshop. Our instructor. He sure doesn't like to get involved. As for me, I'll see if I can find any strings connecting House Zemal to their crimes. The Forgotten Knight should be a good place to start. I don't know what I'd do without the workshop. I'll see if I can get some folks talking. And that leaves you and me, Zev. I believe I shall remain here in the manufactory to occupy the gaze of the Temple Knights, whilst you aid Celesto with his inquiries. In the Forgotten Knight. It's right there. Yep. No fall damage. I appreciate you coming out, Zev. It's a bit hard planning aught in the workshop, or with the Temple Knights eyeballing over every move.
We should be able to talk freely in here, though. Do you recall that bloke as he was standing guard over Joy's dad? Aye, Freudo was his name. He took to marksmanship with a passion and hadn't missed a single day of training. Not until today. I got suspicions, of course, and decided to pay a visit to his home. Right away, you could see the door had been kicked in, so I went inside and had me a proper look. That's when I found a ragged feather just lying there on the floor amidst the bits of broken furniture. If I wanted to keep me hands clean, then maybe I'd hire some thugs from out of town to do poor Frodo? Thugs what might otherwise make a living poaching wild chocobos. I suggest you talk to Lord Stevenivian and take a trip out to Tailfeather. I'll keep poking around here in the city and see what else crawls out the stonework. Ah, it was just an illicit meetup, and now I go right back to where I just was again. You so rapidly come to and from Sky Steel that it's like the majority of this quest chain. It didn't change my out of combat bar. Or maybe I changed it. This may be our best lead. If we can track down the man who first employed Frido, then we shall have a solid link to House Zemal. Let us waste no time. Onwards to the Dravanian Forelands and to Tailfeather. I'm basically unsure about how to pronounce literally every single name. And I just power through at some point because I'm like, fuck it, can't stop and go for pronunciation guide for every single one. That's a voice actor job, not a let's player job. That's too much commitment. Where? I guess here-ish, yeah. Hey, there it is. Good news, Zev. I have spoken with some few of these hunter fellows, and they told me of a trio of ruffians that passed through here, dragging a man matching Frodo's description. We shall scour the forest to the south, if you look to the north. Do not wait for us. Should you find these ruffians, then pray confront them ere Frido comes to further on. I will fly directly. Hey, Chocobo. Thematic. They must be from Tailfeather. There was a Chocobo feather, and that's the only explanation. Oh shit, we're right. No witnesses. Cut this one's throat as well. Oh, we were just in time then. Hi, friends. Crit. Oh. Right. Levels. Wow, that attack got splashy. Or flashy. My main combo is very fireworksy now, isn't it? My thanks. I did not expect to see another dawn. Frido, not leaking blood, are you? Splendid. You gave us quite the scare. Forgive me, my lord. Those men, they dragged me from me home, said they'd hurt me if I didn't swear false witness to the Temple Knights. You were forced to substantiate their accusations. Then you merely need to withdraw your testimony to strengthen our position. 'Twould be a boon if we were able to provide some manner of physical evidence. A seal of House Zemal. 'Twould explain how the ruffians who snatched Frido were able to enter the city without challenge. Aye, this shall do nicely. I am truly sorry, my lord. All it took was one little beating for me to repay your kindness with betrayal. I'll not darken your doorstep again. What nonsense! You hardly had a choice in the matter. Continue your training at the manufactory, however, and you'll become more than a match for those thugs and such as these. Even without a noble's wealth or prestige, a common man can earn himself independence. Kinda sounds like you are actually fermenting an uprising. You'll see that a machinist's firearm is far more than just shooting is for more than just shooting dragons. It can help set you free. His lordship's visions will change Ishgard for the better. Come with us, Frido. We'll become the spear and the shield that our city needs. I'd like that. I'd like to feel like I'm worth something. This all seems like gun porn, and it shouldn't be that surprising, but it's just... We all make mistakes, my dear fellow. The trick is to learn from them, and rise stronger from every defeat. Come, let us return to the manufactory. Guns are what for shooting people, too. Haha. I conceal carry everywhere I go. I'm like, oh no. Ba-doop-ba-doop. I guess I don't know what else I expected from the gun storyline. I guess I was just goofily being like, just opting into wacky anime guns with no strings attached. And now it's like, let's look into what it's like to care about guns. And you're like, oh. The tables have turned, my friend. I have submitted the evidence you found to the Temple Knights. With the aid of Frido's new testimony, we have enough proof to lodge a counter-accusation against Hedogrinch. The wheels of justice have begun to turn, and we shall soon be free of these baseless suspicions. In the meantime, Rosenthal requested that I instruct you to remember your bleeding practice drills. Charming fellow. Is this the middle part of the combo? Tactician. I don't know what that is. So we're now at 56. Still got a bit more to go. Reduces damage taken by self and nearby party members by 10% for 15 seconds. Cannot stack with Troubadour or Shield Samba, but it's like the equivalent of them buttons. That's handy. Nope. There it is, bar 8. I should also put limit break, there it is. There you go. Need some of these things to be accessible, but not on the main bar. And that's the kind of cooldown that kind of belongs there. I should also put more of the class category ones in there somewhere, but I don't remember them by sight. Like leg graze and what all the different grazes. I don't remember what any of them are at a glance, so I wouldn't know how to press them on a whim anyway. Gotta memorize them at some point. It's very funny how many basically naked people are just running around in this game all the time. Hello. He's the Chocoboman. Goodbye. His people need him. Also this guy. What are clothes for? I'm back and it's late at night, which might be where I get a lot of this stuff done, because it's... I want to spend my prime time. I got to spend all my prime time hours getting all the big stuff, the main content done. Not the one where I read a bunch of dialogue for an hour. We just hang out right before bed. Sleepy time narration. Listen, when I start these multiplayer series, I'm not signing up for like extra homework. So when this turns into extra homework on in my solo time, it gets done when it gets done. Zev, I trust your training fares well. I have heard not of the fate of the manufactory and would welcome fair news from any quarter. Bad news, my lordship. We talked to a clerk who works at the congregation, and he says the accusation against the workshop ain't been lifted yet. What's worse, it seems they ain't inclined to pursue your case against Tettlegrinch neither. I do not understand. When I presented my evidence to the Temple Knights, the officer in charge seemed convinced of our innocence. My dear naive Stephanifian, truth is dictated by the victor, the one most skilled in strategy, and the one most adept at maneuvering, one such as me. You dare show your face in my manufactory? Have you no shame at all? Shame? Why, you were the one who submitted a forgery of my house's seal and attempted to deflect your obvious guilt. Upon review of the evidence, however, the Temple Knights shall soon rule in my favor. But our sources were unimpeachable. Our innocence was all but proven. The twice-altered testimony of a commoner is hardly unimpeachable, and you cannot deny claims that the ailing House Helena have been arming the lowboard and inciting them to seize their independence. We have all heard the shots fired within the city walls. You would twist and corrupt everything we have worked for. As I said, such is the privilege of the victor. If you wish, I might be willing to teach you how to bend the situation to your advantage. We shall do well enough on our own. Now, exit my manufactory ere we find your shiny armor doused in machine oil. You would spurn my generous advice. Will you truly surrender your last chance to demonstrate House Helenard's unswerving devotion to Ishgar's prosperity? There is a beast that has been harassing our supply trains of late. A menace that the Holy See greatly desires to see put down. Even cloistered here amongst your scrap-covered benches, you must have heard tales of the fearsome Varicellin. No, never. What the fuck are you talking about? Varicellin? The Varicellin dragon that the Order of Knights Dragoon had failed timing to slay. How do you not walk directly into that pun? He means to make a bloody show of you, boss. The Holy See has agreed to abolish your trial in exchange for the dragon's death. Pray send word when you are prepared to face Varicellin. I shall organize for a priest to be present. Provide you with suitable bait. Your lordship, what do we do? Send the Warrior of Light at him and he'll just defeat it instantly. He's 20 levels overpowered anyway. I'll just confess it was me that was firing me weapon. You shouldn't have any trouble laying the blame on a drunken outsider, especially one that's known for his vicious crimes. That ought to get you off the insurrection charges at least. No, you cannot do such a thing. I've lived half my life in a ship's cabin, and a prison cell ain't much smaller. You can pay me for the time in the brig after they let me out. I'll stop him, my lordship. By the Fury, that man's full of surprises. My prospective meter had naught to say of this eventuality. I cannot allow our instructor to sacrifice himself for the manufactory. We have no choice but to accept Tettlegrinch's impossible challenge. But I fear Rosenthal will not be convinced unless we prove we have a chance of defeating Varicellin. I do have a machinistry marvel in mind that might just do the trick. Its implementation, however, will require a number of clear lightning crystals, of the like found in the Sea of Clouds. 'Tis said that the Vanu store such crystals for use in their tribal ceremonies. Pray, steal into Okvunduvana and lighten their baskets a touch. Surely they won't miss a handful or two.
That reminds me, I need to start looking into the freaking class quests, or the correct words. The tribal people in this expansion. I think we're getting late in this expansion too, so I'm kind of like late to the process of investigating that. I might not be done before the next expansion starts. Womp womp. Admittedly, I was previously riding the hype of trying to get all of those dances for my dancer class, and so now I'm no longer a dancer, so it's less relevant now. But I do also want all the dances. I don't know if you get any dances, though. I should look into the rewards for them, and then I'll have more incentive to care. Although I think I heard that the Kikirn are in Stormblood, and they're one of my favorite beast tribe races. They're cool. They're very charming. So I'd like to see them around. I imagine one of the beast tribes is the wolf dudes, which I should be more excited for, but they're so awkward looking. They're just not very well made. Whoever made this game is I say this a lot, but like whoever made this game is a cat person. So the cats look really cool, and the wolves and dogs on average look underdeveloped or gross or outright monstrous. Which they are supposed to be monsters, I know, but they seem explicitly unappealing on purpose. I'm not actually pressing any of the correct buttons right now, honestly. But it doesn't really matter, because I'm way too high level. I should make an actual glamour with this top. I'm still wearing the cosmetic item and not the actual, not my actual armor. It's not glam. It's still not glammed. It came in the mail at the beginning of this episode last time, and I just left it on. I just kind of mash a bunch of buttons. There's an AoE one, there's a few cooldowns. Why not? The downside of having your objective in town is that you can't just teleport directly to your objective. You always have to teleport to the main spot, and then you have to do the networking thing. Blah, 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 blah. I know. 5 seconds of extra work, I'm devastated. Brown. Brown, brown, brown. For the machinistry marvel I have in mind, I shall have need of the clear lightning crystals found in the Sea of Clouds. Blah, blah, blah. Ah, yes. These are wonderful specimens. These crystals shall allow me to broaden the capabilities of your ethereal transformer via a more efficient process of energy conversion. I only hope it will be impressive enough to convince our instructor to abandon his foolish course. Time to go kill a dragon, which I've done before, so it's probably not that big of a deal. Although it tends to be done on a raid. It is very funny to me how little clothing he's wearing in this particular run. His legs are more clothed than anything else, which is really your average female character, honestly, in games. Which is what happens when you take this glamour plate and remove its chest piece, which is the majority of his clothes. One of our machinists just returned a report on the situation with Rosenthal. 'Twould seem that Joy and some colleagues have caught up to him in the pillars. Pray make your way to that scene and persuade the instructor to stand down. It's very goofy that in the context of the story, like, a few minutes have passed. They just caught up with him over there somewhere. But, like, then you have me? And I'm like, here we go. I literally traveled to a different region to do something. Y'all having a fight? Should have known you'd be along. Now back off before I teach this student the meaning of point blank. I'm talking to you as well, Joy. Step aside. I bloody well will not step aside. Zev, take the fight out of him with a Gaussrand, if you please. That's how it's gonna be, eh? Come on then, we'll see who shoots who first. Alright. I shot first. It's me, Greedo. Is that Greedo? Yeah. God, it's in one scene. Bloody hells, that was fast. Was it? I had to change hotbars.
Your students ever strive to impress you, Rosenthal. And 'tis thanks to Zev's diligence that I am able to once again improve the tools of our trade. Even very Selen cannot stand against the advances we have made in both technology and technique. You must have faith that our machinist will prevail. And though I appreciate your eagerness to occupy a cell on my behalf, such a sacrifice will not halt Tato Grinch's crusade against the manufacturing. Aye, you might be right about that. He's right about more than just that. You've got to stop underestimating what we're capable of. I keep forgetting what a stubborn lot I'm dealing with. You're the ones what are challenging the very stones what Ishgard was built on. Alright, I won't give myself up. On one condition. The sun came up. Old talk of contracts aside, let me help in the fight against this very Selen nightmare. You've always sought to avoid such entanglements before. What has changed? It's a matter of penance. Back when I was still in charge of the Kudas, I lied to my subordinates. Instead of serving the thalassocracy, I had the lads working to further my own agenda. It all came apart, though, when I sent a glut of them off to die in a battle they had no business being in. I had my eyes on the Admiral's chair, see? But what kind of Admiral would do that? It was reckless and selfish, and got a lot of good people killed. After they stripped me of me rank, I drowned myself in drink, and took up the life of the worst kind of pirate. The soldier I tried to visit in Camp Overlook, he was one... The phonetic spelling is getting really fucking overbearing at some point. He was one of my lads what survived. I've been sending him every coin I can spare to pay back me bloody debt, but there ain't enough gelt in the world what could buy off me guilt. Ah, they rhyme, kind of, maybe. And now, years later, I had a chance to undo the wrong I've done. A bunch of my students planned to charge into a situation they got no business being in, and I planned to see him come out alive. Well then, consider yourself invited to the battle. Come, lead us in a pre-battle drill, Rosenthal. There was 2 entire lines of his backstory that I didn't even internalize because I was so focused on just trying to say the fucking words correctly. Once more, your skill at firearms has rescued the manufacturer from peril. Let us head back there, shall we? I think the story sends you back to the manufactory like twice as often as it actually has to, purely because it has to start and end every quest there. So it breaks the momentum constantly to send you back there just to start and end every quest, because you might have to, because most likely you have to like go level up 2 more times before you can do the next one. The dragon's probably the end of the storyline. Ah, there you are. I've sent word of our decision to Tato Grinch. Even with the instructor's added firepower, however, I fear this challenge will test us to our very limits. Rosenthal has vowed to stay with us, regardless of the term of his contract, until the sins of his past have been washed away in very Selen's blood. Let us take advantage of every moment we have from now until the battle, to hone our skills to a razor's edge. Quest complete, start new quest, yep. And that's probably yep, level 60, that's the cap. Rise of the Machinists. A day has been chosen for our trial against very Selen. More than any that has come before, this battle shall be pivotal in deciding the future of the manufactory and machinistry both. Thus, ere we march forth to meet our fate, I would hold a celebration in honor of all that we have accomplished. As has become customary, however, the principal players are nowhere to be found. Pray head out into the city and seek out Joy, Rosenthal, and Celesto. And my father. Why is it my job to do everything all the time? You know, the Warrior Light's kind of busy, I say before I sign up for like a 17-day consecutive quest for a freaking Beast Tribe. Meow, meow. There you are. I am invited to the manufactory. Well, well, how times have changed. Though I appreciate the gesture, I do not have a place at that table. I vowed to leave Skysteel matters to Stephanie Bean alone, and so I shall. Tell my son that I shall pray for victory and the prosperous future that will grow from his success. I kind of feels like you're just being a smartass about it, if I'm being honest. Tell my son to never include me in anything ever again. I have vowed to be an absentee father because I didn't get my way once. More card games to try to win. I have limited patience for the card game. It's kind of annoying. I'll head there right now, but before we do, Zev, I want to thank you again for helping me find my way. I just got myself back from where I belong, and I ain't about to give up the workshop on a second time. Yeah, I probably haven't done a card game on camera for months. Why not just hop in and take a look? Granted, I don't remember how to do it. Wait. These are levies. I mean, it does look like cards, but it's like papers or something. Drove my Chevy to the levee and got a lot of experience. A feast, is it? I can already feel me belly rumbling. As always, the chief works to make the manufactory a place where the commoners like me feel welcome. He's done his best for us, and I mean to do my best for him. Even if it means fighting that monster of a dragon. I feel like this is asymmetrical. He cooks you dinner, and by cook I mean he tells somebody else to cook you dinner, and you fight a dragon for him. This is not equivalent exchange. Your mother will not come back to life. Clan hunt board. What? Another bleeding celebration? Well, I guess we never did get to have the first one. Ah, Zev. I knew the first time I met you, you'd be a demon with a carbine, and bugger me if it weren't right. Now look at us, ready to stand side by side against one of the biggest bloody dragons to ever raid the supply train. I'll get everyone through this, though. Don't worry. It's interesting that the story, yeah, the A Realm Reborn storyline ends with a celebration that then gets interrupted by the kidnapping immediately. I said this before, but I find that interesting that because this class these storylines were developed simultaneously because this class is an expansion class, but unlocks at a lower level. At least I'm pretty sure that's the case. They didn't have to think about... They didn't actually have to have a full-on ending for the storyline because it literally was never the ending. Like, when it was made, it already was not the ending. Because you were already expected to continue leveling. Whereas normally they have to kind of end the story on a more permanent-ish note because the next expansion won't be out for years, if ever. Thank you for summoning everyone to the feast. And thank you for Father's message. Eat, drink, and be merry. Soon we shall introduce Varicellen to the rage of the Machinists for the manufactory and for Ishgard. For Ishgard, says everyone in a combined voice. See how their eyes shine with determination? You were the perfect choice to act as my ambassador. Ever has your presence been a boon to the manufactory. I often wonder what would have become of us had you not chosen to walk the path of the Machinist. Though our next battle together will indeed be perilous, it shall also serve to demonstrate the pinnacle of our achievements. When Varicellen lies defeated in the snow, we will have accomplished a deed that Tailgrinch and the Holy See believe nigh impossible. When you are ready to make history, join us at the site of the trial in Corthus, Western Highlands. But for now, lots of fruit. Would you like an incredibly low polygon, blurry pineapple? All my favorite food is blurry. Is there any meat in this entire meal, actually? Oh, there's some. I'm trying to parse what was happening. Like, that's veggies. And, like, that's, like, some kind of variation of, like, a pie. But that's also, like, a pie. And that's also, like, a veggie stew. I don't know what that is. That could be an apple pie. That could be mashed potatoes. That could be a quiche. A lasagna. I don't know. There's no bread, is there? Not really. There's like one coffee-looking thing. There's just some strange choices were made here. Also, I can walk straight through it because it's not a real asset, because whenever they load stuff in for these purposes, you usually can't touch it. Its hitboxes need to be consistent between players. Anyway.
Ha ha ha, hee hee hee, hoo hoo hoo. It has been weeks since I recorded whatever happened last in this video. I think it's still the same video. Just weeks. I meant to get through all this sooner, and I have not been. Oh well. The rest of my backlog's been doing better. I've been getting caught up on everything else. There's just a lot to juggle. This is all bonus shit.
Lord Tettlegrinch, my machinists are assembled. We now but await the arrival of the dreaded Devastation. Excellent. I am accompanied by a priest of the Holy See, who shall ensure that the trial proceeds in accordance with the Guardian law. A wagon has also been provided to tempt the talons of your quarry. The Observatorian has been tracking this creature's movements. According to their calculations, Devastation and its entourage should fly over this pass within the hour. Should the machinists of the Skysteel Manufactory satisfy the conditions of this trial by combat, either through victory or valorous death, then shall your innocence be proven and your honor redeemed. Should you choose to flee, however, I trust I need not elaborate further. We shall oversee proceedings from on high. Then I must judge thine actions evenly and with uninterrupted view. May justice be served. Your Reverence, pray do not avert your eyes should the scene become a bloody carnage. We would not wish to deny these fine combatants a fair trial. My strategy for the battle is thus. Hit these beasts with everything we have. Deploy every turret and shoot every bullet. We shall bury Devastation under a hail of metal and fire. His strategy is you shoot them a lot with your guns. Whoa.
Soon I will unlock the middle part of this combo that looks cooler, probably. Please. I feel like it's been long enough without it. Oops, I'm mixing up my buttons.
They're behind us. What are we gonna do?
Why do I have... I'm surprised I have this on my combat bars of all places. I'm in danger. Okay. I'm not a tank. But I have everyone's attention.
Bloody hells, it's massive. And that's the thing we gotta kill? As Manufactory Chief, I have but one order for you all. Survive the battle. Ruh-roh. Owned. Oh, I think you need that. Machinist, protect the fallen. Why do this? Why protect me? Should you but allow the dragons to do their bloody work, you will be free to pursue your agenda. Gasp, but we're better than you. Get fucked. Aye, and few could argue that you have earned it. After the grief you have caused, I should take what is left of your corpse and string it up to the target practice. I know this voice is wrong, I'm pretty sure, but I cannot even slightly remember what it was before. If my machinists are truly to be the spear and shield of Ishgard, we must defend all her citizens with equal zeal. Gasp, we're just too virtuous to let you die when you're actively making the world worse. I fear that excessive association with commoners has softened your brain. The oath you have sworn, however, is indeed a knightly one. If you're done yapping, Lord Tettlegrinch, we're a bit bloody busy here. Wag that tongue again, and it'll be the first thing I put a bullet through. That was a mistake. I don't think you should just threaten him. You'd best heed her warning, old fellow. Joy is not one to give voice to idle threats. Well, here he is. Well, he's talking. You better shoot him. Until this day, I have but observed your battles from afar. What a perfect opportunity for me to evaluate your skills from a more intimate perspective. By the Fury, is he still speaking? Leave him, Joy. We have more pressing matters to attend to. Let us shoot a path through the foes arrayed before us. Boom. He's being very rude to me specifically right now. If somebody would like to help. I can only do so many backflip gunshots before I get really tired. Here comes another turret. I assume that the turret changes targets whenever your target dies, but I don't actually know that for sure. It'd definitely be a bummer if it would just was like, well, my target's dead. I guess my life's over. Not relevant right now, but I've been thinking about how I don't really know how it works. And it's too chaotic to keep an eye on during fights. Ultimately, optimization's just almost never important, so whatever. Press your buttons, they're shiny. Oh, look at them go. Doing backflips. Duty failed? God damn it. I hate when the fucking text feed has like a secret objective that they didn't tell me about. Oh, god damn it. I'm all the way back here. I gotta keep an eye on that green text in the bottom left corner. The dialogue indicates something's happening sometimes, but
fucking... I can't tell. It's already such a noisy game trying to keep track of all of your buttons and shit, and like dealing with a big, like, I'm looking at the bottom of the screen a fair amount because I got to keep an eye on my global cooldown and the timing of my abilities and which things are available at the moment. It's a bit much to then also have to be able to keep track of the dialogue that's silent and change, and there's no like... They really need to have like an on-screen announcement, like, oh fuck, here's your objective, protect this guy or something, that like is like a big eye-catching moment of like, here's what's happening right now, oh my god. Because if you don't do that, I'm just like, what happened? Protect Ted Elgrinch and defeat the dragons. I don't even see how oh, there's more dragons. There we go. Fight reset. Like in moments like that, I'm going through all of my crazy cooldowns, seeing how effectively I can cycle. I still have all the enemies aggroed on me, but I've also got to defend this guy. Okay, so what I think happens is that the NPCs go after... Okay, the NPCs go after the other dragons at the beginning of the fight, but when they defeat those dragons, they run to come help me with the boss, and then they don't pay any attention to the subsequent waves of dragons. And in the chaos of the game, there's nothing calling my attention to the idea there's apparently more dragons somewhere. And MMOs are extremely noisy games. And I mean visually and audio. Like, it's just so much shit. It's why the go-to way of announcing a raid mechanic in Deadly Boss mods on WoW is an air horn. Because you just need something to cut through all the shit to be like, hey, a thing! Fuck! Look at the thing! Sometimes just playing a noise without even knowing what it's for just makes you refocus and be like, okay, something's wrong. What is it? And look around a little bit. When otherwise you think you're like, oh, I should be prioritizing my DPS rotations. We did the thing. We've done it. The damnable beast is dead. I thank you for saving my life. The accusations against you shall, of course, be withdrawn. As a further token of my gratitude, I would offer you a boon. Speak your wish, and I shall do all within my power to grant it. A boon? You think one little favor will wipe the ledger clean of your steaming shite? Fortunately, my heart has but one desire. I will have your oath that henceforth you shall no longer oppose the rise of the Machinists, and never again seek to interfere in the operation of Sky Steel Manufactory. Is that all? No chest of coin? No promises of power? The workings of your mind are truly an enigma to me. But you shall have my word on this. Nevertheless, indeed we shall discover the means by which your fine machinists might contribute to Ishgard's defenses. It is only from behind a sturdy front line that a machinist's full potential is realized. Together with your knights, however, we shall change the face of war. Of course. You cannot yet do without the masters of the battlefield. May we strike fear into the hearts of our enemies and ensure the continued prosperity of the Holy See. Fare you well, Lord Stevenibian. Well, that's that then. Thanks for letting me join you on this one, boss. I think I'm ready to move on now. Why? Why is that? Where does it come from? Ah, Joy, your aim's as sharp as your RP tongue. Good work, lass. I nominate you to take over as master of marksmanship. Zev, you're too bleeding quiet, but your weapon speaks loud enough, I suppose. Keep firing like you're doing. I reckon your new students will flock to the workshop to follow in your footsteps. Are you truly leaving us? I've never been the kind of bloke that sticks to one place for too long. You've treated me well in the workshop, better than I deserve, I reckon, but it's time I weighed anchor. I'll be seeing you then. Should your travels bring you back to Ishgard, do you know you always have a place at the manufactory, my friend? Shall we be on our way as well? Your level is no longer synced. And so I teleport. I haven't walked anywhere a day in my life, and I'm not looking to start. An extraordinary turn of events. With these troubles behind us, however, I feel the age of machinistry has finally arrived. And you, Zev, have all but outgrown the manufactory. With Rosenthal's departure, there are none who might compete with your skill at firearms. Pray take the lessons you have learned and make known the machinist's trade in every corner of Eorzea. You are, of course, welcome to return to us whenever you desire. We shall be here, ever serving Ishgard as her deadliest spear and sturdiest shield. Ah, before I forget, Rosenthal asked that I encourage you to push the limits of your marksmanship. I believe his exact words were, so that you can blast through any pile of shite what might stand in your way. I'm getting better at the accent, don't you think? How many think is this? Slugshot becomes heated slugshot. Heated slugshot. Oh. This is the same, they're both the same upgrade. New ability. This concludes the Machinist quest for Final Fantasy XIV Heavensward. In order to take get into the next expansion. I'm already there, so I'm already good. Or I should be. Yep, there it is. But that's next episode, because I cut each arc into an episode or two. That's the logic of these. I'm gonna take a break, even though I just started for the day. I'm gonna do something else now. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, now the yep. Now all of these, now my main combo is all heated buttons, so now, in addition to the other attacks, what already look like proper attacks, now so will that. I don't know. There, I guess. Just somewhere that's outside. Just so I can look at the animations. Did I successfully... Is this outside? Oh yeah, I'm in this place. Oh, there's a whole mob of dudes. So I can go... Oop. Oh. Can't attack these guys. I don't want to join the Fate because they'll disable my abilities. Boom! So my first attack is a front flip gunshot, which seems overkill, but okay. And then my finisher was this. He does like a little like Trinity from the Matrix jump into the air and then fires his gun at an awkward angle that looks like it would break his wrist, and then he flips over. And the middle of my combo is now... What? The fuck? That was a really weird one. Why was that one so weird? It's so far away. Bum 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 ba-dum. What in the world? The middle of this combo is super weird now. What the fuck? It's weird that the opening attack looks the best out of the three. The other ones are very strange, but this is just a good old-fashioned cool flip with a gunshot in it. Huh. That middle hit is such a long animation. It's so overhype. And it, like, the damage triggers before any of the animation happens. I don't know. Strange. Well, at least I have my full main combo at correct power level. Now I just need to do another story arc to unlock whatever else you get.